clean cooking energy. My guests tonight are Sulley Amin Abubakar, founder of Zako, and Prince Nana Kow Essel, CEO and co-founder of Econexus Ventures Limited. Business PM is proudly brought to you in partnership with the Center for Sustainable Transformation. So, of course, every Tuesday evening at this time, we discuss challenges and opportunities in everyday business to achieving sustainable development goals, or the SDGs as we call them for short. These are 17 goals with targets and indicators agreed on by UN member states, including Ghana, to make the world a more just, equitable, greener, and peaceful place by the year 2030. I'm your host, Emmanuel Aboagye-Wiafe, and I'll be doing this with
Rosemary Balami.
She's from the Young Reporters for the Environment, YRE, at the Center for Sustainable Transformation. Well, last week on the SDG-Hub, we discussed the role educational institutions play in minimizing plastic pollution in Ghana by focusing on an initiative called the Plastic Free School Project. If you missed it, you'll find a video on our Facebook page at Asaase Radio 995. To solve many of the unsustainable challenges we have, we need sustainable entrepreneurship and innovations in Ghana. Tonight, we'll be looking into sustainable entrepreneurship and innovations with a spotlight on clean cooking energy. As we all know, traditional cooking methods such as burning wood or charcoal, which is a practice in Ghana, has a dire impact on the environment and contributes to climate change and environmental degradation. It also leads to harmful indoor and outdoor pollution, which can cause respiratory problems and other health issues, particularly for women and children who spend a lot of time around the stove. It also harms our needed forests, which clean the air and absorb climate gas emissions. This episode touches on Sustainable Development Goal 7, affordable and clean energy, Goal 8, decent work and economic growth, and Goal 9, industry innovation and infrastructure. So before we delve into the conversation, let's take a look at the extent to which household energy or cooking energy impacts the environment and our health in general.
Yes, Emmanuel. It's interesting how this is given little attention when it has such a huge impact on the environment and our health in general. In Ghana, about 80% of households cook by burning biomass like wood, charcoal, and crop residue in open fires. According to a report by MLab, variants of similar traditional methods are employed by nearly 3 billion people around the world, and the resulting air pollution from these fuels has devastating impact on human health. The World Health Organization says an estimated 4 million preventable deaths occur every year as a result of burning biomass for cooking, and lower respiratory tract infection, the third cause of death in Ghana, which is highly associated with inhaling smoke from traditional fuels. The United Nations Climate Change Conference has also revealed that Ghana has the highest rate of deforestation in Africa. A significant reason for this is the use of wood and charcoal for cooking, the burning of which also produces a significant amount of greenhouse gases, as charcoal remains the predominant cooking fuel in Ghana, accounting for more than 3/4 of domestic energy consumption.
Well, so these are some worrying revelations right there. But we are fortunate to have some social entrepreneurs with us in the studio right now. And of course, we're going to be talking to them because the work they do seeks to address household cooking energy by providing sustainable alternatives for clean cooking. My guest tonight, or our guest tonight, Sulley Amin Abubakar, founder of Zako, and Prince Nana Kow Essel, co-founder and CEO of Econexus Ventures Limited. Gentlemen, good evening once again and welcome to the studio.
Thank you.
So
you very much.
We would want to find out from you what exactly you do. I mean, by these designations, beautiful designations I've just mentioned, what do you do in your various capacities? Let me start with you, Abubakar.
For us at Zako, what we do is that we produce charcoal from coconut waste. We started actually with coconut waste, but now we're delving into other biomass or other raw materials or feedstock. For us, we saw, the whole deforestation challenge firsthand because I grew up in the Aboagye-Wiafe region, mostly Sunyani, and then went to school in UDS. So literally, I've seen the real impact of deforestation. And you can't blame humans as well, because humans need to eat. And to eat, we definitely have to cook. So in doing this, we're literally cutting our own lungs just to feed ourselves, because these trees are what sustain us. So I came across a lot of coconut vendors in the streets of Accra. And I mean, their waste, the waste these guys generate is literally a menace. It's all over the place, and no proper management system for these waste all over the city. So I came up with this idea of converting the coconut waste from these vendors into charcoal, clean cooking charcoal for households, and now we do industries as well.
Well, so for those of you watching on Facebook, you just displayed some of the packaging of the charcoal that he does. And Prince, we also like to know what you do.
Yeah, thank you very much. We are into the production of clean burning bioethanol fuels, and then the stoves. So our fuels comes with its own stoves. So we getting to know the devastating nature women go through in fetching firewood, and also getting assaulted by some people. I mean, when they are on their way to get firewood and all that, we saw the need to provide something that is flexible, that is affordable, and above all, climate smart. So we are coming from that angle of environmental sustainability and also affordability. So we make our fuels from waste as well. Our ethanol fuels are from pineapple waste, cashew apples, sugarcane molasses, and all those things. So it's more like a second generation and circular economy kind of integration. Yeah.
Interesting to know that all of you are indeed doing something to help sustain the environment that we live in. Now, let me start with you, Amin. We keep hearing about clean cooking. What does this mean, and why is it so important to us?
Well, it means so much, because in my earlier submission, I did mention that we're humans and we definitely need to eat. But how we eat equally affects our livelihoods. I mean, there's enough data, I'm sure Rosemary did mention in her earlier submission as well, the staggering figures. I mean, you mentioned that we are like number one in Africa. Literally, it's actually number one in the whole world. Yeah, because countries like Scotland have been able to recover their forests to prehistoric times. All right, countries like Netherlands have done the same. And in Ghana, we are number one in the world to have lost about 60% of our forest cover.
That's
Number
sad.
two is our neighbor, Cote d'Ivoire. And look at the difference. Cote d'Ivoire is about 26, whereas Ghana is like 60%. And besides the annual tree planting exercises that we have in this country, there's literally nothing else happening to preserve what we already have. All right. So there are a lot of factors that affect our forestry, and data from the Forestry Commission and the Energy Commission that regulate the charcoal and also the forestry industry says that over 90% of all trees cut in this country is used for wood fuels. 90%. So it's just about 10% that goes into construction and even furniture. So if we are cutting so much trees, then something definitely has to be done.
So it's actually possible to restore our lost forests.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. A lot of countries.
And it goes beyond just the tree planting.
Yes.
Okay. And so what inspired you to get into this particular venture that you're in now, and how does it contribute to clean cooking in Ghana?
For me, I keep saying it's curiosity. All right. If I knew it was going to be this hard, I don't think I would have gotten into it.
How hard is it?
Yeah, because for me, I'm a curious person, right? And then I see a lot of coconuts all over the place, and nobody's doing anything with it. Look, there are days we've gone to the Independence Square, right behind the Independence Square, and there was mountains and mountains of coconut waste, right? Behind such a national monument, something definitely has to be done. You go to the beaches and it's the same. And you talk to these coconut guys and they tell you, per 100 trash crab rabefa. So for them, it's even a problem, right? So now there is a problem. There is also a solution, because people really need these energies to cook with. Look, besides the economic gains or the commercial gains with the charcoal trade, there's a lot of impact. Look at the women or mothers that have lived their entire lives on charcoal and taking care of their kids to secondary to university. So it is a revenue generating activity for people. It is impacting our lives because when they say when the last tree dies, what happens
The
to
last
us?
man dies.
Yeah, we follow. So something definitely has to be done. So I got into it out of curiosity. Eventually, I fell so much in love with it, I couldn't stop.
Okay.
So my motivation basically was curiosity. Now it became impact before even economic gain.
Economic gain.
Because if it were economic gain, I definitely would have given up long time ago.
Okay.
Good you didn't give up.
Yeah, exactly. So now let's look at how it's impacting. Let's take like indoor air conditions and all that, and even a bigger picture of climate change. Does it even generate this smoke and all that? How different is it from this normal charcoal that we have?
Okay, so biomass definitely generates some smoke. All right, generally all biomass generates smoke.
Okay.
And this smoke is relative compared to which kind of raw material or feedstock it's coming from.
Okay.
If you look at firewood, firewood will generate a lot more smoke because it has a lot of moisture, and then the sap, which is the white liquid in the trees, already present in the firewood. All right. But then when you compare the smoke from firewood to briquettes, briquettes or charcoal briquettes have been processed and even dried to drain off all these moisture content.
Okay.
So it reduces the smoke as compared to using normal charcoal or firewood. So definitely briquettes or charcoal briquettes are far more like less smoky compared to. But then every organic material will have some bit of smoke in it. Yeah.
Okay. So now let's take a look at since you brought this whole Zako initiative. How has it been? How has the reception been like? How are people receiving it as compared to the normal traditional ways of cooking?
Well, I personally, just like I keep saying, out of curiosity, before even getting involved, I did engage a lot of these coconut charcoal sellers in the streets, and in my engagements with them, I got to know what customers wanted. I learned so much in the early days. So before getting neck deep into it, I did test the waters, and based on information I got from these charcoal sellers, I was able to know what I was getting myself into. So reception-wise, it's been very good. In fact, our biggest challenge has been our ability to meet the demand. I mean, Zako alone can never even meet the demand for charcoal in the country. And it's equally same with almost every other producer.
Okay.
But how accessible you are to the market. So we took this strategy where we sell through the same women that sell the normal wood charcoal, right? Because in the early days, we gave them a lot of free samples to use. They loved it. Then we asked, can you sell this?
Okay.
Because they have used it and know how it works, they were willing to take it. And then they grew the market from their existing customers. And then eventually everybody else came to love Zako. We also stock in the modern trade, which is the supermarkets as well, yeah.
So is it like only based in Ghana, or you also do?
Yes, we do export as well, yeah.
Okay.
Well, let's come to Prince. Prince, so tell us, how has it been starting this business, and how different is it from the normal stoves that we use or see around?
Yeah, it's been quite challenging. I mean, to be honest with you, just like my colleague said, I mean, it's actually stemmed out of the passion to impact socially. Had it not been that, if we were looking at the economic part of it, many of us would have just stopped on the way. So our stove is quite different from the LPG in that I always take the bioethanol fuel. I don't know. I think you have it here in the studio.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it has a vent where the fuel gets to. Ours is a biofuel.
Okay.
It's located in nature. It looks like hand sanitizer gel. So the stove has an area where.
So when you say biofuel, what exactly are you talking about?
So biofuel is simply biological fuel. So it means that the fuel is derived from a biological source.
Okay.
So the reason why fossil fuel is polluting is that biofuel, unlike fossil fuel, the emission or the carbon that it even emits out is something that the environment can even absorb.
Okay.
But fossil fuels are fuel derived from dead animal, dead organisms. So the carbons are like entirely new to the environment.
Okay.
So that's what a cloud in this system to cause the global warming and co.
So what we see some jelly. Is it jelly?
Exactly.
Or
Yeah. So we call it EcoGel.
Okay.
EcoGel is 100% ethanol gel made from waste. It is made right here in Ghana.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what does it do?
So the gel like this, you have the stove area,
Okay.
and I'll quickly show you. This is the pot support, okay, and here happens to be the fuel holder,
Okay.
otherwise known as the canister. So the hose here is where you pour the fuel in it, and then you can regulate with this the feature here.
side,
Yeah.
yeah.
So we have minimum and maximum. You know.
And so, if you want to cook, let's say your cassava and plantain, do you need like a half bottle of this as fuel?
Actually, this 1 liter cooks for maximum of 5 hours. So I mean,
Wow.
I don't know the type of food that you want to cook for 5 hours, but surely this, as a single person, you need 3 of this for a month.
Okay.
You understand? And
Beautiful.
these are 20 cities, so 60 Ghana a month. There you go. And it's not cumbersome. No, you have just your stove and your fuel.
And so you manufacture the stove yourself here.
So now we are bringing it down from abroad.
Okay.
Yeah, but we are setting up through a recent partnership. We are setting up a stove manufacturing here, right at the heart of Accra. So you only need a bottle and then a stove, no gas cylinder.
gas.
I'm interested in the source of funding. I mean, before you started, how did you get into the funding of this development? Is there some support in the system, or you've got everything for families to buy your products?
Yeah, so for our side is a mixture of the two. So
Okay.
you realize starting this as a green SME, you don't really have a lot of the options out there like you get in commercial bank, like facilities from the commercial bank. So you start with bootstrapping. First of all, you have to bootstrap from family and friends. Yeah, so I've got a lot of supporters, like family, friends who actually bought into this idea at a early stage, and I'm very grateful to them. But outside that, we've been supported hugely by grant from development organization.
Okay.
We started our proof of concept with a grant from World Bank through the Ghana Climate Innovation Center.
Okay.
And then from there, we had support from Dutch Embassy Program, Orange Corners. And now I think last year we got a grant from Open Value Foundation from Spain.
Okay.
And recently we have this partnership with Siemens Foundation that is actually taking our fuels to the senior high schools. 4 of them, we are putting up 4 industrial scale ethanol stoves. The SHS they use, now most of them are drifting from LPG because it's expensive. So a lot of them are going for the wood. And it will interest you to know, last week it was really it was really challenging for us ourselves to even believe that a whole senior high school decided to cut down their trees because they need fuel to cook for the students. We are talking about 5,000 students.
That's quite unfortunate.
Yes, one of them uses about 4,000 tons. No, actually, it's 4 tons of firewood weekly.
Oh, that's huge.
Do the math.
That's huge.
And if a school is cutting down their trees, that's 4 tons a week.
Destroying the forest.
That's serious.
Now let's look at, what does your market look like?
Okay. So for us, we actually started with the intention of serving the local market. So the local market has always been our priority because for me, the use of charcoal, I usually say it's not because people cannot afford LPG or electricity. The usage of charcoal has some cultural connotations to it because my grandma would tell you her tozafi or maybe her tilapia would do well on charcoal, all right? And you can't fault her. And I'm sure it's the same in almost every household. And this is true such that almost every household that has a gas or electric stove also has a charcoal stove. Almost everywhere. So this is not because people cannot afford gas or electricity, but the kind of foods we prepare. So we look at the local market. That is anybody or any household that uses charcoal on a daily. That is our market. Yeah.
Okay, that's impressive.
Wow. So now let's look at scaling up this whole clean cooking solutions in Ghana. What are the barriers? What do you think, Prince? What do you think are the barriers in scaling up these clean cooking solutions in Ghana?
Yeah, one barrier is education.
Okay.
Yeah, people have to be educated on clean cooking itself. The fact that we shouldn't cook with smoking or smoky fuels and then traditional cook stove, and then its health implications and all that. Once you educate a person at that angle, introducing these other alternatives to the person is an easy go area. And they quite align with it, like straightforward. So education is key.
It's key.
One other thing I would say is obviously funding. What we are doing, even us, we've not enjoyed the kind of investment that our major competitor, LPG, like they've done all over the years. And it will interest you to know that the sort of investment we need is just a quarter of what LPG, for us to take this to the various household, So there is that need for funding. And when I say funding, I'm talking about catalytic funding. A lot of people are doing enterprise support in the space. But it is better to look beyond a few $1,000s, And yes, we don't have to look at the throwing in money to buy an equipment. You need to also understand the value chain from the production input. You understand? Because if you have the equipment and you don't have the working capital, then you've not done anything. And one thing is that once you've introduced the individual to this, the person wants to see this again.
Okay.
So when the person doesn't have the opportunity to have access to this, then now people will tend to look for alternatives, charcoal, and then the rest.
Now, so what would you say are some of the challenges that you've encountered?
Well, for me, I think regulation has been one of them.
Okay.
We operate in the system where we don't want to be treated with kids' gloves, but at least some incentives, all right, to encourage us to do what we're doing. We're already in a troubled space, right? The charcoal industry is already looked down upon. But then ZACO is not doing what everybody else is doing. We're providing an alternative. And we're even willingly training and getting more people into the chain that they can even do it in their own communities. All right. So we are expecting that certain regulations will be looked down or will be encouraged to do what we're doing. Besides that, I think the funding bit is also key because we've been around for a long time, and it's interesting how a lot of the funding is mostly foreign funded and
foreign source
than local. But I think our local people are also doing very well because we also got some support from the Climate Innovation Center, GCIC. I would mention folks like Hub at East Legon. Family has also been very supportive, especially mine, because not everybody else would want to see the award leave university and then say, I want to sell charcoal.
So do you think that you see a total shift from our traditional sources to the latest developments soon? Or how can we ensure that citizens choose these sustainable alternatives?
Yeah, sure. I see a trend change. About a month ago, there was a report that came out that the usage of LPG has reduced by about 19%. That's almost 20%. Where do you think all these guys went back to? They went back to charcoal and firewood. So once EcoGel is supported to be available and accessible on the market, and ZACO is equally able to be everywhere on the market, because it hurts me to get calls that I know I can never supply. So that means if we can supply, our consumers are able to consume as well.
Finally, Prince, how can policymakers and government especially encourage adoption of clean cooking energy technologies, especially in an energy transition era?
Yeah, I think the government has some laid down policies and some implementations. I mean, initiative implemented now. Talk of the Korea government 500,000 improved cook stove that had been distributed.
Okay.
I mean, government has this commitment towards clean cooking. I think the minister mentioned that at the recent COP27. But my challenge is that a lot of these engagements are central to ICS, that is improved cook stoves, and then LPG. But if you look at the two, and then the target areas, that the rural communities, say LPG to a whole like isolated community, talk of the infrastructure, talk of the fuel handling, So I think the policy now should be narrowed down to solutions with flexibilities like these. You understand? And then the ICS to also look at solutions like briquettes, not firewood and charcoal and all those things. Because at the end of the day, the people will still go back to using charcoal to power those improved cook stoves. And we've not done anything, So I think we have to review these stuff really well. Yeah. And then also have a holistic approach to it.
Indeed, we need to have a holistic approach to this. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise and insights on this conversation. Now, if you're a listener between the ages of 11 and 25 and get inspired to write, make a video, or take photographs of issues relating to environmental problems and solutions, or if you know someone who does, the YRE has its annual competition out now. Visit our website at cest.com/YRE competition for further details. Grab this opportunity to give the environment a voice. Who knows, you could be our next lucky winner. So tune in same time next week as we continue discussions on all things sustainable development right here on Asaase Radio 99.5 as we build a better future for people and the planet.
Thank you so much for staying with us on the SDG-Hub. We've been speaking with Sulley Amin Abubakar, founder of ZACO, and Prince Nana Kow Essel, co-founder and CEO of EcoNexus Ventures Limited. I've been your host, Emmanuel Aboagye-Wiafe, and I did this with
Rosemary Balami.
Thank you so much. Back to Nana Kow.